Welcome to Seoul, the capital of the Republic of South Korea. For decades, the city known as the Miracle of the Han kept its head down, barely raising a ripple as the country rebuilt in the decades following the Korean War. Today, Seoul has re-emerged as an economic powerhouse and the epicenter of Hallyu, a Korean wave of culture that is sweeping the world's smartphones, food halls, and dance floors. But Seoul wasn't always so outgoing. In the 14th century, a 12-mile fortress wall encircled Korea's ancient capital. Its gates closed each night to keep marauding Siberian tigers and invaders at bay. Since then, the city has spilled out far beyond and above its great city gates and guardian mountains. 21st century Seoul is a city where glass and steel towers and the ancient curves of palace roofs coexist. It's a city where the brushstrokes of the past and contemporary public art tell stories of tradition and inspiration. Coming to grips with Seoul's incredible size and sweeping narrative can be a little daunting. So start your adventure at the K-Style Hub, a state-of-the-art visitor center where South Korea's past, present, and future converge. From the latest in K-pop to its timeless national parks. From the cutting edge of K-design to culinary traditions which have taken centuries to perfect. And while you're here, why not slip into the traditional dress? Dressing up hanbok style doesn't just put you in touch with Korea's proud past, it also gives you free admission into many of Seoul's most revered historic places. At the head of Gwanghwamun Square sits the gleaming statue of Sejong the Great, the 15th century Joseon dynasty king whose reign oversaw a golden age of literature, science, and technology. The great leader sits before the grandest of Seoul's 5 royal palaces, Gyeongbokgung, the Palace of Shining Happiness, a residence of Joseon dynasty rulers. From the late 1300s until 1910, the palace has endured fires, invasion, and wars. Wander through the palace's ornate gates, pavilions, halls, and throne room, which, in accordance with Confucian principles, are perfectly balanced by the simplicity of the pine-covered mountain backdrop. Take a short bus or subway ride to the east to explore the adjoining palaces of Changdeokgung and Changgyeonggung, which are separated by a simple stone wall. In the tranquil confines of Changdeokgung's secret garden, sit for a while by the pond, where kings once paused from royal duties and dramas to write poetry beneath the ginkgo, walnut, and plum trees. To the south, at Doksugung Palace, see the changing of the guard, which takes place 3 times each day. Then explore the eclectic mix of palace buildings, such as the pavilion, where coffee-loving King Gojong enjoyed his daily cup, paving the way for his country's future caffeine obsession. Just to the west is the last of Seoul's great palaces, Gyeonghee-gung, a royal refuge in times of unrest. After exploring Seoul's vast temple complexes, see how government officials and ordinary Koreans once lived. At the Namsangol Hanok village, ancient buildings and traditions have been preserved in one of the most scenic and tranquil areas of Seoul. To see how Seoul's citizens furnished their homes, visit the Korea Furniture Museum in Songbuk-gu. Here, over 2,000 exquisite pieces of practical craftsmanship are displayed within 10 traditional houses. The story of Korean craftsmanship continues at the National Museum of Korea, which houses national treasures such as the 10-story pagoda and priceless white porcelain from the Joseon era. But it's in Seoul's busy streets where the past and present really rub shoulders, and where the two Korean loves of shopping and food go hand in hand. Close to Seoul's Great South Gate, step into Korea's largest marketplace, Namdaemun Market, where locals have been bargaining hard for over 600 years. If you're looking for beauty products, join the 1 million shoppers who stream into neighboring Myeongdong each day to hit the 1,000 cosmetic stores. And when your head starts to spin, take a snack break. From lobster tails to foot-long ice creams, the options here are limitless. A few blocks north is Insadong, where you can disappear for days amid the labyrinth of antique, curio, and craft stalls. While just a short bus ride away at the Dongdaemun Market, you could spend months browsing the fashions on offer in the area's 26 malls and 30,000 specialty shops. Blow the dust off old wares and vintage bargains at the Gwangjang Traditional Market. Then treat yourself to some of the best Korean pancakes in the city. If you're a seafood lover, cross the river to the futuristic Noryangjin Fish Market, where the skillful vendors at 700 stalls sell, slice, and cook every kind of seafood imaginable. Looking for some Gangnam style? Head just upriver to the Samsung-dong, whose exclusive boutiques and wide boulevards have made it the Beverly Hills of Seoul. But it's not all bling in Gangnam. You'll find plenty of bliss here too. Pass through the Gate of Truth and spend a few hours in the wooded surrounds of the Bong-eun-sa Buddhist Temple, a peaceful antidote to the fierce pace of Seoul's shopping. Seoul is filled with quiet spaces. Also in Gangnam, stroll past the stadiums and museums of the 24th Summer Olympics at Olympic Park. Across the river, relax with locals amid the leafy glades of Seoul Forest. While just downriver, enjoy the ponds and playful sculptures at Yongsan Park. Namsan is one of Seoul's guardian mountains, marking the southern limit of the ancient capital. The city has long since grown around it, and today the mountain has become one of the city's favorite green getaways. At Namsan Botanical Garden, follow the winding paths through fields of wild flowers and pine forests. Then hike or take the cable car to the peak and take in the sweeping views from the old city walls or from Seoul's iconic tower. Running right through the busy heart of downtown Seoul, another landmark has also been given a new lease on life. After centuries of neglect, Cheonggyecheon Stream has been transformed into a 7-mile corridor of serenity and creativity. Take time out just a few feet from some of the city's busiest streets. In a space so quiet, you can sometimes hear the sweet sounds of birdsong and whispering lovers. Leave the bright lights and noise of the city even further behind, amid granite-studded peaks of Bukhansan National Park. Take the 45-minute subway ride from central Seoul and spend the day hiking through the crisp mountain air, past ancient temples and rushing streams. Just 55 miles from Seoul is another day trip which will give you pause for deep reflection. The truce village of Panmunjom. After 3 years of brutal warfare, it was here in 1953 where the armistice was signed between North and South Korea. From the observation post, look out upon the eerie silence of the DMZ, the 2.5-mile-wide buffer zone that separates the two Koreas. Yet, despite the tense atmosphere here, there is also a prevailing sense of hope. On returning to Seoul, spend a little time at the War Memorial of Korea to truly appreciate the scale and trauma of the Korean War, a conflict that tore a country in two, involved 22 nations, and cost millions of lives. Besides displaying all the usual machinery of war, above all, this is a place of remembrance, longing, and determination. When the sun gets low and the city lights up, locals gather on the banks of the Han to see the Banpo Bridge erupt in waves of water and light. It's in moments like these that South Koreans reflect on life's possibilities and are reminded that they are capable of anything they put their minds, imaginations, and hearts to. And so, the miracle on the Han is certainly proof of that. The city of Busan sits on the Korean peninsula's southeastern coastline, just a short flight from Asian capitals like Beijing and Tokyo, and a 2.5-hour bullet train ride from Seoul. South Korea's largest port and second largest city spreads out along the jagged coastline of the Yeongnam region and rises into a sea of mountains beyond. From the shellfish which drew Paleolithic gatherers to its rugged shores, to the never-ending offerings of the Chagalji fish market. From the Joseon ships of old, to the dockyards which helped drive South Korea's economic miracle, Busan has forever been linked to the ocean. As the world races further into the 21st century, Busan continues to evolve into a haven where hard-working Koreans can let their hair down, reflect on the past, and peer into the future. While the bustling port underpins Busan's economic vitality, It's the city's beaches which increasingly draw travelers from all over Asia. Just a 40-minute subway ride from Busan Station is the city's star attraction, Haeundae Beach, South Korea's biggest and best-loved beachside hangout. Follow the long sweep of sands eastward to Talmaji Hill, an outlook adored by the wandering poets of yesteryear and the coffee lovers of today. While at Haeundae's eastern end, take the paths through Dongbek Park to Apec House, where Asian and Pacific leaders enjoyed some of Busan's most celebrated views during their 2005 summit. Busan's ever-changing coastline offers scenery and activities to match your every mood. For total relaxation, unroll your towel on the half-moon curve of Gwanganli Beach and enjoy gentle waters, laid-back vibes, and views to Diamond Bridge. If you're looking for adventure, join a charter at the fishing village of Cheongsapo, or step out onto the skywalk at the end of the Yeongho-dong Peninsula and take in the views of the Oryukdo Islands just offshore. Seeking a little enlightenment? Head to Gijang and make a wish at the Haedong Yonggongsa Temple, one of the few Buddhist temples in Korea built by the ocean. Cross historic Yeongdo-daegyo Bridge and head to Taejongdae Park. It was at these cliffs where, according to legend, gods and goddesses once came to relax, and the 29th king of Silla spent his leisure time shooting arrows into the passing clouds. For today's mere mortals, the park's the perfect place to slip into a slower state of mind as cargo ships journey to far-off ports. The meditative mood continues at Songdo Beach. Step across the swirling waters onto the elevated walkway, whose curves depict a mythical dragon taking flight from its coastal lair. Then let your mind wander and the kids run free at Tadepo Beach. Here, at the mouth of South Korea's longest river, the endless sands and sea mists blur the lines between heaven and earth. While Busan's story has been continually shaped by the sea, it's a city equally defined by its mountains. Just above the port, ride the escalator to the summit of Yeongdusan Park and share the views with the statue of 16th century naval hero Admiral Lee San-shin. On nearby Mount Chonma, take the 20-minute hike to the observation platform to see dynamic Busan spread out before you. In the city's north, climb aboard a cable car for the 5-minute ride to Gyeonggang Park, the home to Busan's highest peak. Join the thousands of locals who hike here each weekend, exploring the forest trails and walls of Gyeonggam Fortress. The park is also home to Pomosa Temple, whose warrior monks fought off invaders in the 16th century and again in the 20th. Busan never forgets its heroes, and at nearby Cheongmyosa Temple, pay your respects to the spirits of Busan's patriots who gave their lives when their city was besieged by Japanese troops in 1592. In 1950, Busan was again under siege. At the UN Memorial Cemetery, visit the gravesites of some of the 140,000 troops who formed a last-ditch perimeter around Busan, fighting off waves of North Korean soldiers. Busan was one of the few cities of the south not to fall during the Korean War, becoming a safe haven for over 500,000 refugees. At the UN Peace Memorial Hall, the sacrifices of both combatants and civilians are remembered, as are the stories of suffering from ongoing conflicts around the globe. Busan owes much to its resilient refugees. Dishes born of post-war hardship have been perfected into culinary masterpieces. An alleyway where a refugee couple sold magazines discarded by American GIs grew into an entire street of bookshops. And a few humble stalls where the newcomers traded life's basics is now one of Korea's biggest and best-loved traditional markets, selling everything from kimchi to sneakers. Busan's refugees first filled the portside areas before building hundreds of makeshift homes on the steep, barren hills around the city. After years of keeping their noses to the grindstone, the residents of Kamcheon have embraced their creative side, adorning their laneways and walls with artworks which have transformed their neighborhood into one of the city's top tourist attractions. Kamcheon's makeover symbolizes Busan's newfound creative, cultural, and entrepreneurial energy, which has blossomed all over the city. See this energy in its world-class museums, galleries, and festivals. Hear it in the happy bustle of its shopping streets and across the 3 million square feet of the world's largest department store. Smell it, taste it in a cuisine which lures foodies and seafood lovers from all over the globe. And feel it as the city erupts in light each night, just like the displays of its annual Lantern Festival. After centuries of keeping enemies from its gates and decades of hardship and toil, this rollicking town has at last come into its own. Today's Busan is a bridge perfectly connecting the past and future into a very special now. Welcome to Busan, a feast for all the senses and the soul.